Okay, so let's get started with our next unit. Our unit that we're looking at now is all about polynomials, which is functions of different degrees. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about combining functions. Combining, when we say combining, we mean like adding, subtracting, multiplying, and eventually we'll get to dividing. But first of all, you want to make sure that your equation is in standard form. Standard form is when a polynomial is ordered from the variable from the highest exponent to the lowest. So you're going from high exponent to the lowest in order. Degree of the polynomial is the highest exponent of that function. So let's take a look at some examples. Example 1. Okay, so I'm going to put it in standard form. So my highest exponent first. My highest exponent is the 4. So I'm going to do positive x to the 4th, so x to the 4th, negative x cubed, so minus x cubed, there's no x squared, so the next one will be just x plus x. Okay, there's your standard form. Number of terms. Terms are separated by a sign, so we have 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms. My degree, again, is the highest exponent. So my highest exponent is 4, so my degree is 4. And name is dependent on the number of terms and the highest degree. So 4 tells us it's quartic, so it's a quartic, and then the 3 terms tell us it's a trinomial. And these are terms you learned back in Math 1, but if you have questions in naming, you can always go look it up. Example 2, looking at our highest exponent, my highest exponent is 3, which tells us we have a degree of 3, right? So let's order it. So 3a cubed takes care of that one. Our next is squared, so plus 5a squared. And now we just have our plus 1. There you go. Number of terms again, we have 1, 2, 3. And then our name, 3, or cubed, right? So cubic. And we have 3 parts again, so trinomial. 2 parts would be binomial. 1 part would be monomial. Squared would be quadratic, which you guys have done before, right? Okay, so let's do this one. We have, in order, our highest is the 4, so that tells us it's our degree. So 12x to the 4th plus 3, and that takes care of all of our terms. So we only had 2 terms this time, 1, 2. And the name would be, again, it's quartic because it's the 4th. And it is a binomial. There's only 2. Okay. Try out example 4 on your own. Take a pause for a minute and give it a shot. Okay, so if you've tried it out, good for you. If you haven't, then at least follow along to make sure that you know what you're doing. They're all the same, right? So in ordering them the same, before we can order them, we want to combine like terms. So we have, it's a little blurry, 7x cubed minus 10x cubed plus 1x cubed. 7 minus 10 gives us negative 3, plus 1 gives us negative 2x cubed, right? And it has 1 term. The highest degree, or the degree of is the highest exponent, which is a cubed. Cubed, again, makes it cubic. And it's a monomial. Mono, like 1, because it only has 1 part. Okay? Remember, mono is 1, bi 2, cubic 3, quartic 4. So there's the basic right there for you. Okay? So let's look at what type of functions we might get if we start combining some stuff. So plus means just combine your like terms. So if I combined my like terms, what do you think we would get? Would it still be linear? Would it be quadratic? Would it be cubic, quartic? What do you think we're going to get? Write what you think here. Okay, let's look at it. X plus x gives me 2x. 1 plus negative 3 gives me negative 2. So what type of function is it? It's linear, right? It looks like mx plus b. Okay? What if you multiply two things? What do you think is going to happen if you multiply? What kind of function do you think? Write that here. What kind of function do you think you're going to get? Okay, let's try it out. X squared, remember you're foiling, minus 3x plus x minus 3. You can combine your like terms, but just looking at it, what type of function is this? It's quadratic. It's quadratic because it has the x squared as the highest exponent. Okay? What do you think we're going to get if we add a linear and a quadratic function together? Take your guess right here. Okay, let's give it a try. X, there's only one x, nothing else to combine it with. 1 plus 3 gives me 4, and I'm going to put them in order as I do it. And then my next piece that got rid of this, this, and this, I have an x squared term. So if I put out my x squared with nothing to combine it with, it ends up with x squared as the highest. So it's quadratic. Okay? If I multiply a linear and a quadratic function together, what happens if I multiply these two? Well, if I multiply, take your guess. I'm going to FOIL, and I get x cubed plus 3x plus x squared plus 3. So what's my highest? My highest is 3, so it's cubic. Okay? If I subtract, remember when you subtract, you have to change the sign of each of these, like distribute, or you can say x squared, there's nothing else there, 3 minus positive 1 is 2. We're going to put that over here. And then that got rid of the x squared. We have x left. And it's a minus x, right? So we're going to say minus x. And that becomes quadratic. Okay? So now let's look at dividing. These are simple division, so it's not too extreme. If I'm dividing a cubic function and a linear function, it'll create a, take your guess. Remember, when you divide, you subtract exponents. So 3 minus 1 gives me 2, so it's x squared, which is quadratic. Then here, 3 minus 2 is 1, which gives me just x, and that is linear. Okay, so let's flip the assignment on over. Okay, so this is just a table kind of showing you what each one looks like. So if you're adding two functions, like if you have f of x equals something, g of x equals something, they're like this. You can also have the plus inside the parentheses, the f and the g, and the x on the outside. Over here, subtraction, same deal. Multiplication, and then when you divide, you can either say f of x divided by g of x, or you can say f over g of x. They all mean the same thing. Okay? So let's solve the following problems given the functions below. So we know that f of x is negative x plus 4. We know that m of x is x squared. So they're giving us a bunch of different equations. So we're going to match them. So where's f of x? Negative x. So f of x is negative x plus 4. And we're adding that to g of x. G of x is x minus 1, so plus x minus 1. We're adding the whole thing. Okay? So negative x plus x, they cancel out, right? 4 minus 1 is 3. So your answer there is 3. So that should be a pretty simple task. All right, let's look at subtraction. If I subtract f of x and h of x, well, f of x is up here, So that's, you're just going to plug it in. Negative x plus 4, so f of x minus, what's h of x? X plus 5. Okay? Negative x minus x, which would be negative 2x. 4 minus 5, which is negative 1. And that's it. So you're not always going to get a numerical answer like you did over here. Sometimes you may just get another function, right? Combining functions to make new functions. Okay, f of x plus p of x. F of x again is negative x plus 4 plus p of x is 3x plus 1. All right, so go ahead and give it a try. So negative x plus 3x gives us 2x. 4 plus 1 gives us 5. Okay, so I want you to take a few minutes, maybe the next 10 or 15 minutes or so, and figure out the rest of them, give them a try, and see what you can come up with, and I will let you tune back in just a minute and finish the video. Okay, so you should have 4 through 9 done. Let's look at number 4. So g of x plus h of x. So I wrote g of x plus h of x. X and x gives me 2x. Negative 1 plus 5 gives me 4. So that should be your answer. Next one, same thing. M of x plus g of x. M of x, g of x. Your positive 1 and negative 1 cancel out. So you get x squared plus 3x. All right, this one gets a little trickier. N of x, which is the first piece here, and then m of x, which is down here. There's nothing to combine your cube with, so you just bring it down. Negative 3 plus 1, x squared, is negative 2x squared. 3 x's plus 2 x's give me 5 x's, and the negative 1 and positive 1 cancel each other out. Okay? So now let's look at number 7. We have m of x minus g of x. So I have to do, there's nothing to combine the x squared with, so I bring it down. 2x minus x gives me 1x. 1 minus negative 1, and minus a minus makes a plus, so you get 1 plus 1, which gives me 2. Okay? Number 8, we're multiplying. F of x times g of x. So f of x is here, times g of x. You got to FOIL, don't forget to FOIL. First, negative x squared, outer is positive x, inner positive 4x, and last is negative 4. If you look here, you still have terms you can combine, so go ahead and combine them and you should get negative x squared plus 5x minus 4. Alright, so I saved this one to do with you because it's a little tricky. It's not just a FOIL. You can't do first, outer, and last because this second piece is a trinomial, so it's a third part. So what you're going to do is you're going to distribute this x to all 3 of these. So x times x squared is x cubed. X times 2x is 2x squared. X times 1 is x. Okay, so we did all the x distribution. So now let's distribute negative 1 to everything. Negative 1 times x squared, negative x squared. Negative 1 times 2x, negative 2x. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Okay, so now let's combine like terms. There's no other x cubes, so we bring that one down. 2x minus x, or 2x squared, I'm sorry, minus x squared gives me a positive x squared. So we've taken care of these. Okay. Positive x minus 2x gives me negative x, or negative 1x. And that takes care of this one and this one. So all we have left is our negative 1. So this is our final answer. Okay, once you get to this point in the video, see Miss Natasha and she'll give you your practice.